Hey everyone, your YouTube draft nerd Dave here with a guide for the 2025 pool. Draft day's fast approaching and I'm just sneaking this one in just before the deadline. Just FYI, we've been having a few issues with the weather here. It's been chucking it down, hail and thunder and lightning, so if you hear it a little bit in the background, my apologies for that. Now, my approach to these things is a little bit different. I'm not big on strict numbered ranking lists, so what I'm going to do here instead is break the draft up into talent tier groupings. So if you're a fan of a club with a pick in a particular part of the draft, you can look at a group of players and figure out which of them suits your list needs. I'll be going pretty deep into each of the prospects to talk about their strengths and weaknesses and how they play out on the field. I started recording this and it got a little bit unwieldy. We were up to around 30 minutes, so what I've decided to do instead is split it up into chunks to make it a little bit more easy to listen to. The first chunk is going to cover around about the first 10 players, and then we'll go on from there. So let's kick it off. Tier 1, there's one individual that stands above the pack, and that's Will Dersma, 194cm midfielder utility. Thrillum has had a bit of a roller coaster of a season. He ended his bottom age campaign having settled into a mid/forward role and started his top age year playing that same role. He was pretty impressive with his impact as a marking target around the ground and his ability to swoop on loose balls. And he also showed the versatility to impact as a leading forward. But he wasn't super impactful at winning contested ball at stoppage, and he showed some difficulty in executing his skills to a high level with the typical congestion and tackling pressure that an inside mid experiences. Perhaps as a result of these struggles, Willem moved back to play as a tall defender mid-season, both for Gippsland and for Vic Country, a role that he's played plenty through his junior journey. It's a role that can suit his skill set, with his aerial impact and ability to read the play to intercept the ball. The extra space and time allowed to defenders allows him to showcase a kicking technique that's penetrating and punchy. At this midpoint of the season, he was considered a top-end prospect, but not exactly a clear number one. He separated himself from the pack with his move back into the mid-forward role again for the final stretch of the season, and he showed some real improvement in his midfield craft. He started to use his elite athletic traits to impact much more at stoppage. The sight of Will the Thrill bursting away from congestion and pumping the ball deep inside forward 50 became a regular occurrence in the back half of the year, and that confidence started to flow into the rest of his game. He started to play with a bit of a swagger, living up to his moniker of the next Bontempelli. So Dersma's tall and athletic. He has quick reactions and reflexes, clean below his knees and in the air, capable of doing special things. He's the ultimate utility, having played and excelled in almost every role on the field apart from ruck through his junior years. He may start his AFL career playing a more outside role on a wing or as a third tall defender, but ultimately in time he should become that dynamic inside-outside midfielder that can rest forward and kick goals. So I've got a batch of prospects in Tier 2, starting off with Duff Titler, but remember, all of these guys I consider to be more or less equivalent in terms of talent level. So Duff Titler, 201cm ruck and possibly forward. Cooper's played at every level available to him this year, Talent League, AFL Academy, Vic Metro and even appearance in the VFL. He's consistently been the best performed true big man in the draft pool all year, starting with an impressive round 1 Talent League performance, largely playing as a ruck but also showing some ability to impact when resting forward. Duff Titler's a bit of a rough diamond with some incredible traits for a guy his size, but likely to take a little bit longer than a typical top-end prospect would, and he'll require some patience from fans of whichever team drafts him. His elite athletic profile was underlined by top 10 finishes in the 20-metre sprint and the 2-kilometre time trial at the Combine. He's largely played ruck this year, where he showed an intensely competitive nature and physicality, happy to bash and crash in ruck duels, and an elite ability to follow up post-tap at ground level with clearances and tackles. He punishes other rucks on the spread, moving like a midfielder and regularly getting involved in possession chains where other rucks will stand around waiting for the next stoppage. His lack of time playing forward has been a bit of a disappointment for many draft watchers, although he has shown some ability down there, especially in a couple of late season outings where he played majority forward and showed an ability to draw the ball and impact on the scoreboard. His skills by hand and foot are solid for a 200+cm guy, but his overhead marking remains a bit of a work in progress. He's clunked some big ones, but he's also shown a tendency to double grab and a preference for marking on his chest instead of at the highest point. Dan Annal, 183cm midfielder. It's been a super strong and consistent season from Annal, led his Lions to 3 wins in their 4 Talent League games with some gaudy statistical performances, was one of the best for the AFL Academy in their 2 games. His allies were a little disappointing at the Champs, but Annal led them impressively and was named as a starting midfielder in the All-Australian team. And then he finished off his season after the Champs with a series of excellent VFL performances for the Lions. Fantastically well-balanced midfielder that leans inside but can impact on the spread. Muscular frame for an 18-year-old that makes him powerful over the ball and allows him to win heaps of his own footy at the coalface, as well as lay strong tackles when needed. Dyson Sharp, 188cm midfielder. Sharp is a dominant inside midfielder with a big, powerful frame capable of absorbing or laying tackles. He's not a burst athlete, but his footwork around congested space is excellent and he has an elite nose for the footy, which allows him to regularly react quicker than anybody else and win contested ball. He combines slick and quick hands with elite spatial awareness to release outside runners or chain out with 1-2s himself. His kicking accuracy is a little bit mid. He has a tendency to get under the ball, making them float a bit more than you'd like, but he's competent on either left or right and has a quick ball drop that lets him get off a quick kick in tight spaces. Sharp has a very strong defensive game, able to react quickly to close down space for opposition runners and apply tackling pressure. An underrated aspect of his game is his aerial strength, which allows him to become a marking target around the ground or impact as a forward or a defender, roles that he's played effectively in the past. It's worth noting that Sharp is widely known for his strong leadership, regularly praised by coaches and teammates. Sharp was a standout performer at the National Champs for a dominant SA team, awarded the Lark Medal and named as captain of the All-Australian team. Sharp played both the AFL Academy games, quiet in the first one but dominating the second in a BOG performance. He's mostly played senior SANFL all year for Central Districts, with just a couple of tune-up games for the under-18s before the Champs. At SANFL level, he's played more of a sacrificial role for the team, largely off a half-forward flank, focusing on positional play and applying pressure. He started to get a few more rotations through the midfield later in the season and turned in a couple of standout performances. Sam Cumming, 183cm mid-forward. Cumming's a versatile mid-forward with a varied skill set that's both powerful and damaging. Cumming's played as an inside mid, as a high half-forward and as a deeper marking forward and excelled in all 3 roles this season. He combines strength and a burst of pace and plays with a physical edge. When deployed as a midfielder, these qualities allow him to win contested ball, break tackles and burst clear for damaging disposals, or act as a first receiver to damage on the spread. Cumming has the tank to play as a winger or a high half forward, getting up and down the ground, applying defensive pressure and getting involved in transition ball movement. As a deeper forward, Cumming is strong overhead, able to take contested marks or get out on the lead regularly to hit the scoreboard, capable of carrying 50 metres easily with his set shots. On the negative side, although he's capable in the role, Cumming isn't quite as adept as the true elite inside mids at winning clearances at this stage. On the outside, he has a bit of an awkward ball drop with his kicking action, although that doesn't appear to affect his penetration or accuracy. While he is a power athlete, Cumming is only 183cm tall, which is quite a bit smaller than some of the big-bodied mid-forward types. Cumming started the year dominating as a midfielder in the SANFL under-18s. He played midfield and forward for the dominant South Australia team at the Champs, and post-Champs he received a call-up to play senior SANFL, where he again played forward and mid, putting together a couple of outstanding and exciting performances before an unfortunate shoulder injury ended his season early. Zeke Yuland, 180cm rebounding defender or wing. Yuland is an attacking small defender or wing with an absolute cannon of a left boot that allows him to clear 60+ metres with ease. Yuland is a true run and carry player who excels in metres gained, breaking lines. Although only 180cm tall, he's surprisingly strong in the air and a super competitor who hates to lose a contest, which helps him defend against bigger and stronger opponents. He's played some midfield in the past, but a lack of size or elite athleticism makes a future there less likely to my mind. He's an elite endurance runner, but as mentioned, he's not express pace, and although he's confident and poised with the ball, he can at times get closed down by quicker defenders. Sullivan Roby, 192cm forward or mid. Roby's a 192cm kid with a truly big body, wide shoulders, already muscular at 17. Not just built like Tarzan, also plays with some serious physicality. Loves to crash into contests and lay big tackles. For the majority of his time in the Talent League, he's played as a lead mark high half forward who gets well up the ground and presents really well, marking with super soft hands, doing something of a Matthew Lloyd impression of marking at full pace on the stretch, and almost never double grabbing or dropping the ball. If he grows any taller, which he believes is a possibility, we start to get into the intriguing prospect of Roby as a genuine tall forward, given the skill set and craft he's already shown. Towards the end of the year, he started to play more through the midfield and showed some real scope to be used as an impact player through there. The eye test suggests that he's powerful and athletic, and although that didn't really stand up to the combine testing, there were mitigating circumstances that affected his performance there. Xavier Taylor, 191cm defender. Xavier is the standout lockdown defender in the pool. 191cm makes him undersized to play as a true key tall, but he is athletic and very strong in the air, which should make him an ideal matchup for those slightly undersized key talls that are becoming more common, such as a Nate Caddy or Logan Morris. And his elite mobility should give him the versatility to cover smaller and medium types. He started the year focused more on his defensive responsibilities, but as the year progressed he became increasingly confident to run off his man and get dangerous up the ground, willing to take on tackles and showing an excellent turn of pace. He also became increasingly proficient at reading the play to drop into the hole and take intercept marks. There's been much talk about how Xavier has been a big presence at training for Eastern this year, helping to build morale in the group and driving high standards. Dylan Patterson, 183cm rebounding defender or wing. Patterson combines elite pace, agility and power in an incredibly exciting package. Typically playing off a halfback or wing, Patterson eats up territory by foot, daring opponents to try and tackle him before dancing around them with incredibly quick and decisive changes of direction, resembling a rugby winger at times more than an AFL player in the way he moves. His style creates chaos and shifts defensive zones, opening up spaces for his teammates. Patterson's ability to navigate into space allows him more time than most to deliver by hand and foot. So, although I wouldn't say that his disposal technique is elite, he still largely manages to hit targets at a high rate. Patterson is much better going forward than he is defensively. He often ignores his direct matchup when deployed as a defender, roaming up the ground and challenging the opposition to deal with him, but he can definitely get caught out at times in transition. When the ball is in his area, he can use his athletic traits to be disruptive, but he's likely to need some adjustment to the defensive balance of his game at AFL level.
Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with the next 10 or so prospects, and then we'll wrap things up with a third video covering the deeper prospects, probably Monday or Tuesday.